Oh, welcome everybody to the Genesis Mindset. So, the Gospel of Harambe, the resurrection of Harambe on Pulsechain. So, with the recent resurrection of Harambe on Pulsechain, Harambe has been spreading the gospel of Harambe and preaching the kingdom of liquidity providing. So, people on Ethereum, they haven't yet realized that all of their ERC20s are copied on Pulsechain in the world's largest free airdrop. So there's potentials all over this blockchain for 10,000 X's. And here we have seen the resurrection of this particular coin, Harambe, which has been dead on Ethereum for a long time. So we saw it do over a 45,000% the other day, and it has very much died off. But we're actually going to look at this, and we're going to see what this actually means, and if this is a positive thing or a negative thing. This is an investigation. This is going to be a tutorial. So I'm going to continue the investigation into this phenomena with Harambe. And we're going to follow the liquidity routes and how we can leverage our LAU tokens or any kind of liquidity web that you have. And more importantly, we're going to follow Maria's liquidity routes to maximize our own liquidity web. So this is something that I did notice the other day when Maria launched a whole bunch of new Airdrop tokens. So then I started to get active and create more tokens within my liquidity web because it was all connected to Harambe. So first of all, let us set the scene with Harambe. Oh, hang on a minute. Let me just share the screen here. All right, so we're going to go through the Gospel of Harambe. Got to make sure we got that music going. I hope this is the top. Which is the top? So, the resurrection of Harambe. We saw the resurrection of Harambe, and now Harambe is delivering the Sermon on the Mount to the degenerate. Salvation exists on Harambe, on Pulsechain, Harambe says, Harambe 369. And so I say to thee, bond thy liquidity as thy bondeth thy arms with thy brother, and fear not the $sign, for this is but an illusion. Let thy LPs be filled, Harambe 369. Fear not the drop in price, for one man's trash is another man's treasure. And should a man slap your right cheek, do not present the left cheek. Simply continue to accumulate tokens. Harambe 369. Harambe said unto his followers, be not led astray by the folly of market cap, for such numbers will deceive you, as Satan deceiveth the hearts of men. Harambe 369. And Harambe also said unto his followers, for my father said unto me, build thy LPs as one builds blessings in heaven. For a fool buries his treasure on earth, simply holding and trading. And the wise bury their treasures in heaven, liquidity providing for all eternity. Harambe 369. O blessed Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. They sell at lows and buy at highs, maddened by their greed. Harambe 369. I am the way, the truth, and the LP. No one comes to Richard except through me. Harambe 369. Love your LPs and pray for those who dump on you. Harambe 369. Come to me, all who are weary of round tripping, and dump your tokens into my LP, and I will give you the profits. Harambe 369. So, all right, a little bit of lols. Don't mean to offend anyone who's religious. I love all religions. I just think this is a little bit fun, and I'm trying to share the gospel of liquidity providing. So what's up, Kind? And what's up Hexagons? What's up, Tin Top? So, all right, so let's have a look at Harambe. So Harambe, oh my God, look at how much the price has dropped. So under a normal situation, I would look at this and go, this is no good. I hate this. This is dead. But under the circumstances of a liquidity provider, this is licking your lips territory. Because, first of all, before we actually get into the idea of selling, let's bring up Harambe. I hope this first one is Harambe. Where's Harambe? I've got so many. So, okay, the links also are in the description. So the liquidity pools versal.app. Where's Harambe? So I think this one is Harambe. And while that loads, so just while that loads, one of the the things that I always try to follow, I have pinned at the top, is a trope new. Oh, so there's even been a new one here, Keys of Ong, Arcadia. All right, so I'm gonna have to look into that one as well. Token supplier 1. So there was all these suppliers, there was all these tokens opened up. Bank of Bermuda, put a little love heart there. I'll get into the poo. Bank of Bermuda, what do we got here? Whatever these are, Quartermasters, Yakuza, whatever that is, Crew, Ubwaba, Misunderstand. I don't think I went this far back, but basically, I'll always try to look at, I'll put a clown there, get into the clown. So I'll always try to look at this. And because my attention is also on Harambe, so here is Harambe. So Harambe liquidity now 17,000. So this has just started from some people who've started to provide and connect liquidity. So now if we have a look at this, this has half a wrapped Bitcoin, the Pulsechain one, the better version. This has 31 million Pulsechain. It also has some Hay. So now this is also another little thing that sprouted up. So Hay is the very first token that was launched on Uniswap. And basically this was named after the founder, Hayden, whatever his name is. So Hay. And then basically this has also popped up just the other day. So this is I think this is the newest liquidity pool. Yes. Or one of the newest liquidity pools. So Spurdo here on the 7th. So that's today. And this was yesterday. So this little thing was done by a community member with Hay. So now we're trying to bring that one to life. So if you believe in the idea of the PRC20s and the ERC20s reaching parity, and honestly, for me, the story is much bigger than PDI. I think PDI is one of the stories, and I mean, what a phenomenal story. I mean, PDI, what is it now? I think we got back up to the 3 cent mark. It just dipped below the 3 cent mark. So yeah, basically, you're seeing it across the chain. So we have the stable coins, but you know, here we have the wrapped Bitcoin, we have the liquid staked Ethereum. So, you know, if these start to move up, this is the thing. If this continues to move up, it's now bonded with Harambe. If Pulsechain moves up, it's bonded with Harambe. So this is Harambe from Ethereum. So this is PDI, Teddy Bear, PulseX. So now these are all the pools that are connected with it. So when I was investigating some of these tokens the other day and connecting them to the liquidity pools, I found one of them. For some reason, these are not showing. Oh man, I don't know if someone's pulled the liquidity in these, but the liquidity pools are not showing what they were showing the other day. So I don't know why this is. So, but basically this token here, which was this one here. So BBC. BBC. Whoops. So BBC had some Harambe. Oh, okay, that sounds a bit funky. So before I go into the liquidity routes, okay, yes. So 369 audio talk. So 369 is just as just as Tintop said here. 369 is a fixed hex inflation rate. 369 is also a very symbolic number for Richard Hart, Fibonacci sequence, Nikola Tesla. So Harambe 369 is about this as well. So all the time, it's always going to be Harambe 369. So the gospel of Harambe 369. So I saw, somebody is now bonding Harambe with this new token. So what did that mean? So that means, there's a route here that I can go through. So what would I do if I want to get into this? If I want to get into this token, okay, there's a number of ways. I can get in with this one if I have it. So this is Gokuldam Society. I can get in with that one. I can get in with some Pulsechain, but I can't get much because Pulsechain has less than 300,000 Pulsechain in the pool. So you're going to have big slippage. You're going to have to go little bits at a time. This one here is a bigger pool. So there's $148 of liquidity in it. So as I buy through with my LAU token into Harambe, I can then buy from Harambe into this particular token. So again, let's have a look how something like this might actually happen. So, people have started buying Harambe, it looks like. That little wick wasn't there before. So again, Harambe, when I was looking at it here, we were looking at it, perhaps it was up here the other day. I can't remember what day it was. It could have been on the 4th of December. It dipped below this line. That's fine. And I was talking about the fact that if it gets down to these areas, there's no problem because now there's going to be like a set floor where, well, the hope is there's no guarantees, but that the liquidity providers are now looking at this going, for me, it's in my benefit as a liquidity provider to not sell down this token, but to actually build up this token. So how would I would actually be looking at this going, this is an opportunity. Now, why is that? Again, let's think of the example of PDI. So PDI is up and to the right. PDI is up and, oh, we don't want that. We want a nice color. Oh, PDI, oh, I can't do that yet. Okay, sorry, my apologies. So PDI, it's sort of going to go up like this, whatever. It's going to get to the dollar, right? We hope it's going to get to the dollar. Now, if we believe in the ERC20s, all the PRC20s are also going to eventually get there. So when we were doing this stream the other day, I did it just before someone from Ethereum bridged over some assets and dumped into this liquidity pool. So there was an arbitrage opportunity for that particular person. So this is where this chain becomes very attractive. So as the noise and the marketing starts to get out there, people outside of this blockchain who are sitting in tokens that are essentially dead on Ethereum, and they're going to want to bring their liquidity over. They can either dump it into our tokens, our liquidity pools they can get their Ethereum HARAMBE and dump it into the Pulsechain HARAMBE, which is the PRC copy. So eventually then, I believe that all the PRC20s will eventually go to parity. There's some who say that it will go to parity with or without us now due to the liquidity bonding and arbitrage, that they're just eventually going to make their way all the way up. It'll take a certain amount of time, a long, long time. And the more volume that comes through into the chain, the faster it's going to happen. So if I believe that due to the math, then I look at these opportunities and say, hey, as a person who's trying to build up a liquidity web that I can leverage off in the future, I would want to be looking at this going, I want to accumulate some HARAMBE, because the lower it gets, the better it is, because I can accumulate more tokens. So that means I become one of the top holders. So when it continues to go high and people come in and dump their liquidity into the HARAMBE Ethereum and HARAMBE Pulsechain pool, the arbitrage is going to flow through it sends a wave, a cascade down of arbitrage from the highest holders to the lowest liquidity pool. So the highest liquidity pools to the lowest. So basically, so for HARAMBE, it will flow down in this particular order. So the higher up you are, the better. So for example, where's coexistence, Stephen? So I'm all the way down here. So really, I want to be higher. So how would I do that? Again, I would simply you would go to PulseX, and I try to minimize the slippage. So it's always based on the amount of liquidity that you have in there. So for example, here, I've got only $37 of liquidity in there. So it's probably going to be, so yeah, 0.01, that's not much. I'll do 0.0333 for the culture. And obviously, the more that you do, the more slippage. See here, the price impact, the more price impact it's going to be. So now if I delete this 0, the price impact is going to be huge. Why? Let's have a look why in a second. Because, well, actually, let's go to the extreme. Let's do 3.33, and I'll show you why the price. So you can see the price impact getting bigger and bigger because. So now we're up to 20% because in that pool there is only 23 million HARAMBE. There's only 23 million HARAMBE and 2.33 coexistence tokens. So as I do this, if I'm putting more coexistence in there than is even in the liquidity pool, it's going to, I'm going to turn this music off now. I think it's getting annoying. There's more coexistence, Stephen, token going into the liquidity pool than there actually is in the liquidity pool. So it's going to cause huge slippage. And this is something that Richard Hart teaches a lot. So just for the purposes of this, I'm just going to buy a small amount. And then what I would do is I would continue to buy small amounts. So I would buy just small amounts, and then I would keep adding into my liquidity pool. Now, what's the power of this? The power of this, which I think people are still not realizing, is if on my dysnomia, hey, Maria, dicks out for HARAMBE. Dicks out for HARAMBE. Now, what am I doing? Let's have a look at this. People need to understand this. So I've got 96 tokens here, 96 tokens. Now, when I enter something into this, and now this transaction is going to go through, and it's going to mint me 18 new coexistent Steven tokens. So these tokens essentially came out of thin air. So then what happens if I've got a liquidity pool with this? Let's say I've got all my coexistence tokens in liquidity. I can just go through this process, and I can then slowly start to buy into this liquidity pool. And as I'm doing this, it's sending a wave of arbitrage through the Harambe pool. It's sending a wave of arbitrage through the coexistent Steven supply, which is filling up the liquidity pools. As they fill up the liquidity pools, as arbitrage trades through those liquidity pools, the volume gets left behind. So 0.22% of the trade gets left behind in that liquidity pool, and that's your APR, that's your yield. So then if coexistent Steven has 190 liquidity pools, and then all of a sudden Harambe triggers a wave of arbitrage that might sort of trigger a few different pools, then I'm getting yield on all of these. Then I'm adding these tokens plus the ones that I've bought into my liquidity. So Harambe is now on an extreme sale. So I can sit here and keep buying Harambe, keep buying it up with these tokens that I print out, keep buying it up. And so I'm creating value out of nothing and adding to my liquidity web, and my liquidity continues to grow in my liquidity web. And I think this is something that people are still not realizing how insanely awesome it is. It's like it's something completely new and unique to Pulsechain, and I've just been going absolutely insane with how it's extremely fun, but it's a bit of a puzzle to solve the liquidity web. So all right, let's just get into this for a second. So I want to testify the gospel of Harambe 369. Love Temple, if you find that link useful, tip the developer as he is a valuable community member. And this, yeah, man, yes, definitely. The beekeepers tip, you guys can tip here. I'm gonna have to get around to do this. There's like a tip somewhere down here. I'm gonna send some Bayfection to this address, because Bayfection is going to be my Bayfection is going to be my goated coin. Once I've kind of figure all this out, I want Bayfection to be the most valuable. So I'm going to send some Bayfection to this dude, and if he wants to sell it, whatever, he can sell it. So my belief is that the PDI chart will be more parabolic above 50 cents. You know what, Tim Top? Absolutely, I agree with this. So this will be there'll be certainty bias that's going to take over people's minds, because as we get closer and closer with more and more believers, it's going to increase the velocity of volume going into it and the velocity of belief going into it. And then also, because the target is a clear $1 mark, the anxiety of where are we going, can I get dumped on, starts to disappear. So yes, I believe that it's going to rapidly increase above 50 cents as well. So what site are you using to track liquidity? So that is in the description. The link is in the description, liquiditypoolsversal.app. So if you click the description, you can go there. So Harambe are working on their website, and there has been zero marketing that I am aware of by providing liquidity and leveraging that same liquidity over and over. We are able to absorb all the dumps. Exactly. So as we, with our Lao tokens, thicken up the liquidity, as people continue to dump their tokens into here, it's going to send a wave out into the Lao, and it's just going to continue to strengthen up all of Pulsechain. Have you heard about YE24? Sunny added liquidity to Pulsechain copy. The original is a Hex rewards token on Ethereum. A Hexwell made it. To be honest, I haven't heard of that one, but I wouldn't be surprised. Sunny has done some awesome things. I think PaxG was one of his first ones, and Frax. And he's done some awesome things with the PRC and ERC20s. And Sunny has been like extremely rewarded for it. So that's how I'm looking at it. He looks at things in tokens, and he looks at things very differently to the majority of us. I still do to some extent, look at things in the dollar mark, and it's the wrong way to look at it. I'm trying to look at things more and more in the token amount. So the more tokens in the liquidity pool that I have here, yes, it equals, yes, it's going to equal a dollar value. So, okay, let's do this. So let me just slow down for a second here. So this is my coexist token. So I'm going to show you the total liquidity for the coexist token, and I'm going to show you the magic of what this means now, because all of the Atropa ecosystem is just leveraged liquidity. It's just liquidity leveraged on liquidity. So as this loads, I'm going to continue going through the comments. Come on, fatten that Coco Harambe pool so you can allow harder. So as this is, all right, so at the moment, 39,345 in liquidity. So now where's Harambe? So Harambe. So now, did you guys see it before when it was 2.33? If you go back in the stream, I think it was 2.3 or something like this. And then this was 22. So now it's taken out of it. And what, oh, actually, I'm going to show you this as well. I'll show you how the arbitrage is actually working. So hopefully this is going to be working, the arbitrage, nice and smoothly. Praise be to the dark mode. Praise be to Harambe 369. For dark mode is for those with eyes to see and ears to hear. Harambe 369. Let's have a look. Let's have a look what's actually happened here as I've traded into Harambe. So here we go. So look at this. Look at this. All right. Lovely. So Harambe, my 0.033. And then also this is the chat and snipe. So the 0.033 here. And then another 0.033 here. And then what happened? There was a trade here of 3 times the amount of this individual trade here. And so what was this trade? So this was an arbitrage bot. I didn't do this. This is an arbitrage bot. So now an arbitrage bot then took some Pulsechain, swapped it into GBaby, swapped GBaby into the GBaby and coexistent Steven pool. So then that left behind some volume, 0.22%. And then coexistent Steven to Harambe, and that left behind some volume, 0.22%. And then it took its profit back into itself. So it's left some volume here, and it's also left volume in these pools as well. And whoever's providing liquidity in these pools also wins. So this is what the arbitrage does. This is what the arbitrage bots are doing all over the chain. This is why when PDI is pumping, the whole chain is just going absolutely, like gas just goes through the roof. And actually, I think gas has really started to potentially slow down. Gas is a little bit more chill. Looks like the brakes have been taken off, or the brakes have been put on for PDI perhaps. So I can sit here and just keep clicking these buttons. And again, I'm gonna get to this, guys. I do apologize. I will get to it eventually, but I'll also show you how to do like an auto trader as well. So. Okay, come on, fatten the liquidity pool. Okay, so that's enough now. So we've done more. And again, let's just see if it ended up triggering another arbitrage. So I'm just going to refresh this. I'll go back and refresh. Just to show you guys what it actually does. And the key is to kind of like, you want to find that sweet spot where there's always going to be an arbitrage per little Lao swap. All right, so there wasn't one just yet. But yeah, this is, honestly, this is the part where I'm still like, well, the more that I could get one, I could hammer this, and then it will definitely do a swap because the price impact will be so high that it's going to create a price differential in the Harambe coexistent Steven liquidity pool, that then the other liquidity pools that coexistent Steven are connected to are going to say, hey, there's a deal here, which is exactly what it did with the GBaby and coexistence. It went into the arbitrage bot, bought some GBaby because it was and swapped it for some coexistence, and then swapped the coexistence for Harambe. So it got a deal there. So then that was the arbitrage opportunity. So I'll do this again just to show you guys. So while that's doing it, so again, I want to make it very clear. People are buying. I don't know if that's just me. Let's have a look. That could be me. So this is man, my donation wallet. I'm just doing all this with my donation wallet. My donation wallet's getting so fat because of just the donations that people have sent to me. So thank you very much to everyone who sent donations. I probably should have done it in another wallet because everyone's going to think I'm rich now. But the donation wallet, I've started to put this into the liquidity web and buy into liquidity pools and then add to the liquidity. So then my donation wallet is just getting fatter and fatter and fatter. So I'm putting it to work. And then the arbitrage and the yield. Okay, so let's have a look at this. We'll refresh this again and see if there was another little arbitrage that happened here. So at the moment, the max supply for coexistent Steven is at 2,700. And I know the total supply is at 17. It's 17,000. So it didn't do another arbitrage yet, but it will eventually do another one. And sometimes, again, it will trigger multiple ones. So, yeah, I'll do one more, and then I'll refresh. I'll refresh. I'll do that one, and then I'll refresh. This is Harambe now, so I'll show you what it's going to look like when the swaps have been done, and then comparing it to when I add the liquidity back into it. So this is where it's like, it's just magic free internet money. So while that's happening, PDI to $100. Yes, sir. Harambe could possibly go to parity before many other tokens. Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of I mean, you look at the tokens that it's bonded with. I mean, there's 20,000 in liquidity now, so that's jumped up 3,000. So some people have started to buy into it, but then obviously the price of Harambe is going up as well, so the liquidity value, dollar value, is also going up. So now let's go down to coexistence, Stephen. So this is what the pool is. So see how I've been swapping 0.033. So now this number keeps increasing and this number is decreasing. And the hope, what you really want to see, the magic number is when the arbitrage fills back up that same liquidity pool. That's the real magic. I hasn't done another one yet. I'm just going to do one. I'm going to do a bigger one here just to. Sometimes as well, it's kind of like starting an engine. So you might do a trade where I'm going to do this just for the culture. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do this for the culture. Harambe 369. So we shall scale up. We shall scale up as the Harambe scales up towards parity towards the ERC20 copy. Harambe 369. So now this is 0.66. Fibonacci, baby. I should have done this for the culture. What do we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then obviously, again, we're seeing the price impact increase more and more. I don't want to spend too long doing this because it's kind of just boring watching me click buttons. But now the price increase is high. So you kind of have to figure this out with your Lao token and your liquidity pools and your liquidity webs. I've been trying to figure this out. Like, how do I get it? I don't. Some people will say that it's simple, but I don't know how to get the arbitrage bot to just swap straight back into that same liquidity pool, because that would be the ideal scenario. If I'm swapping into it, then the arbitrage also swaps into it and fills it back up with more volume. But still, you're going to end up with more. So now it's done this. Let's see if it's, now I'm going to refresh this again and show the numbers. And then as that's going here, I'm going to refresh this and see if we've had another arbitrage trigger. And again, there's so many different ways that you can do this with your liquidity pools, with your LAU setup. So with Coexistence Stephen, I've just been doing, what do we got here? So yep, here was another one that it did. And then this is my 0.0999991. So again, it's done. It did sort of 1, 2, 3. It's basically done the equal amount of trades. I've swapped this much into it, point whatever that is. That's 0.0999, and now it's done 0.13 swap. And then what did it swap? So it did, oh, beautiful. Yeah. So, well, actually, this is what it did before. So yeah, this is how it's filling it up. So my mistake. I mean, I'm just tripping out here, lack of sleep, all that kind of shit. So what did it do? Pulsechain to USDC into Coexistence Stephen. So out of this, imagine when this is $1. Out of this, I'm getting, so imagine when this is $1 and all of this is getting dragged up. This is the thing that people are looking at dollar values now. But okay, let's say it does 37 USDC. So $37 times 0.0, it'll be 0.22 because I own 100% of the pool. That's going to leave 8 cents. That's going to leave 8 cents behind every little swap. So if I just keep doing this, that's leaving 8 cents. And then this is going to also leave 8 cents here. So then it swapped Coexistence into Harambe. Now, let's add that into the liquidity now. This is where it starts to get delightful. And I'll show you the difference in numbers. So Coexistence and then Harambe. So now we're going to add this here. And so I would often just, sometimes I'll sit here and click buttons because I want to watch it and see what it's doing. Other times I'll just leave my like auto trader on and just let it go. And I'll, for example, go to bed and just let it do its thing, or I'll go out or go to the gym and get huge. Getting huge at the gym. So here we go. So now this is going to add 0.39 and 2.4 million harambe. So here's our numbers. So here's our old numbers before I've added the liquidity. Here's our old numbers before I've added the liquidity. And remember, we started with, I think we started with 22. So in actuality, it's going to be a little bit less, but still, it's okay. Now it's supplying. And as this supplies, instead of just waiting and watching, think again about price bottom floors. So there's different ways that, so Maria has showed us that you can burn the liquidity. So someone who's a Harambe whale could burn the liquidity, so then it's sell pressure removed from the supply. So every single person, and as a matter of fact, yeah, I'm not going to do that just now. But yeah, I mean, people are starting to buy again. I don't know if that's just me or new buyers. So this could now be a bottom floor. It's probably never going to get lower than this. But now, if nobody does anything, just over time, because of the tokens that it's bonded with, it's going to gradually go up. So everyone who's with this liquidity pool, the value of their liquidity, has this finished now? Man. I don't want to click that. Hang on a second, because it'll dox my other wallets. 1 second. It's still adding. It's kind of lagging. Usually if it takes this long, it kind of means that it's not happy. So I'll add it again and try again. And yeah, like if you guys are watching along, do this as you're watching along as well. Don't just passively watch. I would strongly recommend, 1, get your dick out for Harambe, and 2, get your pen out and do some writing, or 3, get your mouse out and start clicking, because that's the best way to learn, doing it together. For me anyway. Like if I'm actually like, when you go to these seminars and these 3-day workshops, and RIP Kerwin Ray, that was one of the best workshops that I ever went to, like a 3-day business seminar, and you go there and you actually do the work together. And then so you come away not with just information, because if you go somewhere and you get the information, then you leave, the information just sits there and then it just dies, because then you just get distracted with other stuff. But if you're actually doing something, you put that energy into the world, and then you can build out of that energy. So I would recommend, if you're watching this, to also be following along and doing some of the things that I'm doing. And it does look like people are buying Harambe. So, okay, now that's added into liquidity. So now while this loads, I'm going to go back to this chart and again, really emphasize this point. This potentially could be the bottom. This could be the floor. So now if this gets to parity, I mean, if it gets to parity, what more do you want? Like you could have got it here. This could be the forever floor. So now if there's all these people in Harambe, all these, this is allow, this is allow, LAU, this will be LAU. Hey, Peter, Princess Di, I'm going to do a video on this as well. I do want to do a video on this. This is a tax system. So some of the boys, I really like some of the boys. I'm pretty sure Fern, Riz. I mean, this is the boys. This is all the boys and the gals. Shout out to the gals as well. Bia, I click buttons. This little teddy bear, Mang. I notice all of these names. E equals MC squared. Shout out to Stu. A1A. Sonny's got his fingers in everything. This is pretty sure, I don't know if he wants to be doxxed, but I know who that is. Yeah. So these are all like people who are looking at this with the mentality of the LAU system, with the mentality of, I want to build a liquidity web that I can use as a bank account in the future, not so I can sell into it. I want people to come and sell into it. Remember, The teachings of Harambe. What does Harambe teach? What does Harambe teach? Harambe 369, come to me, all who are weary of round tripping, and dump your tokens into my LP, and I will give you profits. Harambe 369. Because if we as a liquidity providers are holding, then our liquidity pools are fattening up, which is good for us, and the price is maintaining a stable floor like what we're seeing with the Tropa and PDI, because that sell pressure is being removed. Even though we might not necessarily have burnt the liquidity, we have the mindset of we want to keep this liquidity forever. So just bear that in mind. Okay, so now what happened? So this is the old numbers. I'm jumping around a lot here, guys. I'm really sorry. It's kind of so complicated to navigate this web. I'm trying to make it as simple as possible. I do apologize. So now this is the liquidity pool. I mean, we started with $37 in that liquidity pool. And even as I was selling into it, it went up to 46. So it has more, but we're not looking really at the dollar sign, but that's what people really look at. So we had more coexistence Stephen in there, but less Harambe. Now we've added, now we'll go to Harambe. So now this is, I'm looking at the coexistence Stephen one. So now we've got 52. We've got $52 of liquidity in there. So we've got 3 point. Oh, guys, we know what's up with 3.3. We know what's up. We know what's up here. And then 20.7 million. So we have maybe slightly less Harambe, but if I just keep doing that, I'm going to end up having more Harambe, more coexistence Stephen, and I can keep fattening up this liquidity pool. So that's Harambe. Now, how can I start building out that web? Because this was one of my favorite moments with the Airdrop ecosystem when I first showed one of my little baby dolls, one of my precious little, man, some of his little sayings are just in everybody's mind. So this is one of my little babies here that I just leave growing. I have them all throughout the center. Here's another little baby with, you can see its root system. So we're building out the root system here of dysnomia and atropia, and atropa rather. So we're building out the root system. So we have Harambe. So then what does Harambe do? So Harambe root system, but it's not just the root system. And I think this is why Maria described it as mycelium as well, because it's like all interconnected. So let's go back to the share screen. So what did I see here? So it looks like some of these are busted up. So where was the one with Harambe in it? So this one here with Harambe. So then what did I do when I wanted to get into this? I don't need to use Pulsechain to get into this liquidity pool. I don't need to use Pulsechain. I can just mint my own token. And so this is the thing, man. This is the thing. I don't need to use Pulsechain. I don't need to add fresh fiat into this system. I can mint my tokens, swap it into Harambe, and then through Harambe, swap it into this particular token here. And it's a real shame that either way, then I can swap this token into Gokuldam. So Gokuldam Society, because it's one of the top. Why Gokuldam? Unfortunately, well, you can see it because at least it's still showing these, but you've got Gokuldam here at the top. There's supposed to be 14 liquidity pools here, but then if I want to get into this one now, I want to get into Obwaba. So if I want to get into Obwaba, I would go from Harambe. I'll bring this one. I would go from my Lao to Harambe, to this, to Gokuldam, and then through Gokuldam, and Pirates with Attitude is another one. When you start looking at all the liquidity pools, you'll start to see, what other tokens is it bonded with? So I can get Gokuldam now with this one. Ubwaba, probably the reason why it's not showing is because it's so small. But yeah, there's only like $5 of liquidity in this one. So there's nothing. I don't know what's going to happen with this. No one knows. What could Maria do with this? Who knows? Who knows? But I just saw this opportunity. I'm like, I'm going to get into this because I'm seeing this little web form. And then Cutting Crew, so Quartermasters, I believe. Pirates with Attitude. So we saw Pirates with Attitude here as well. So I could go Lao, Harambe, this token, Pirates with Attitude, and then Pirates with Attitude with Yakuza. But then also I would do a Pirates with Attitude with Coexistence Stephen. Because again, as the liquidity is starting to flow through all of these different routes, the thicker your pool gets, the more the arbitrage comes through your pool as well. This is the thing. So even with Pirates with Attitude, so here's another one. Again, Pirates with Attitude, or you could do with this. Hey, I'm here. So I'm here at the bottom. And then this is Pirates with Attitude. So yeah. So this was another one that popped up. Bank of Bermuda. So I see here's Quartermasters, and you could get in with I think with Quartermasters, LT Love Temple. I got in through you, my friend. So I pumped your bags, and this is the beautiful thing. So this is the thing now, man. This is another beautiful thing, right? So I could look at this and go, LT. I love LT. Love Temple. Great dude. He's sharing a lot of alpha in all the chats. He really wants to help. So what am I going to do here? I could go through Gockledam, but I've got a liquidity pool with LT DeFi. So Love Temple DeFi. I'm going to buy. I'm going to swap Coexistence Steven into LT DeFi. So pumping his bags, sending arbitrage through his pools, leaving volume behind, leaving yield behind. And then with LT DeFi, I'm going to swap into Covertear, Quartermasters. So any route that you want to go down, but if there's some of the boys that you like, hey, we like the boys here, let's go through here. And then what's this one? This one, Bank of Bermuda, keep in touch. So I'm nice and high on this one. Now, all of these have different amounts. This has got a good, I want to build up this one because it's got 3K liquidity. This has got a tiny amount of liquidity. So I think I would have only bought like 50 cents worth and then put 50 cents of Coexistence Steven. Same as this one, $7.70. So again, like I just did a tiny amount. I'm not going to sit there and buy that up because there's like barely any liquidity in there anyway. So I'm just dipping my toes in. But I could build it up, right? I could just keep building it up. I could build this up. I could be the one that ends up being like the cutting crew dude. But then you would go a step further. Let's just say this, right? Cutting crew dude. And you know what? Anyone who follows this channel and anyone who's down with the synchronicities will probably, I should probably pay attention to this myself, but this might end up being something where it's like, I should probably end up doing this actually, because anything that I just off chance end up saying ends up being something that has lots of alpha. So, so here we go. So this is a liquidity pool. So the cutting, which one was cutting crew? Because cutting crew didn't show many liquidity pools, did it? This is where it starts to mess with my head because you got all these tabs open. You're like, which one was cutting crew? Okay, so it was this. Okay, right. So cutting crew has a supply 3,138, and I don't know anything about it. It could be a token that can be minted. I know nothing about it. So don't, just because I've said it, don't go into it and buy it. So oh goodness me, what happened there? Maybe this is a, so this was the top, holder of cutting crew, which so that would be gosh. So that's Pulsechain. Okay, so that's why there's already all these tokens in there, because this will be the Pulsechain pool maybe. And so, yeah, I don't know why it's got all this random shit in it. I mean, normally the random stuff comes in after, like this is a fresh liquidity pool. So I don't really get that unless someone has sent all these tokens to this liquidity pool. But yeah, okay. So, and then this should be, oh, I'm second. That's not right. What's going on here? This is some weird shit. So this is cutting crew. That's not right. 382.12. Let me just shift this over here so I stop wigging out. So now this is cutting crew. Coexistence Steven's like down here. This makes no sense. This makes 0 sense actually. It makes like literally 100%. Oh, that's Quartermasters. What adult? Where's? Yeah. Isn't that what I'm looking at? No, I'm looking at cutting crew. Fuck, I'm tripping balls. This is the problem. See? Lack of sleep. Too many tabs open. I can't keep up. So it's not easy. It's not easy for your boy either. But you really are. Yeah. Well, this is so. Yeah, but this is only showing 3 liquidity pools, which is, yeah. There's not really much you can do there. So I'm obviously the second biggest holder, the top holder. The top holder could be, I should know this, but I really don't. If anyone knows what that top holder is, what happens if we copy that address so we can just see what it means to be the top holder? Maybe it's like a specific, like an actual token. No. All right. No idea. Okay. Yeah, I see this quite often. I don't understand this part of the blockchain, but whatever. The blockchain is like kind of annoying to read. So yeah, that's me. There's this many tokens in circulation. This person here is the biggest holder. And if I want to stay as the biggest holder, we have no idea what's going to happen here. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if there's any plans for this particular token. I have no idea. But if I believe maybe one day there's going to be something with this, then I would want to stay the top holder. So here somebody's beating me out. So all I would do is I would swap into that. But I'm not going to do that because there's only like a few dollars here. So then I'll look at the ones with more. So this has got 31. This one had 26. This one has, so this was Pirates with Attitude. So I want to be in this. I want to be in this. So I create a coexistence and Pirates with Attitude because there's a lot of liquidity in here that I can leverage my liquidity with. This is a new one. Keep in touch, Bank of Bermuda. But I went heavier on this one because this one has a heavier pool. So it's like, okay, that's interesting. It has heavier pool. It has more eyeballs in it. I want to be in that one and I want to stay high up. And it's possible for me to stay high up. Pirates with Attitude, it's going to be difficult for me to work my way up to the top here. What were these ones here? Same as Quartermasters. So yeah, 941. So yeah, this is how you can do it. So you just follow the liquidity routes like this. I still haven't worked out what the easiest way to do this. I literally just, okay, what did I do? I ended up copying and pasting all those token addresses from Atropa new contracts. I went into the liquidity pools Versal, pasted them all here, look for some relationships, and then I started to buy in and then build up my liquidity pools. So yeah, man, like, so this is the thing. Oh, it looks like my mouse is just, so, okay. All right, so that's with Harambe. That was, we added, okay, it's been a while now. It's been almost 45 minutes, and I would have done this, spent a few minutes, and I grew this from $37 up to $52 of liquidity, which increased the total liquidity value of Coexistent Steven. So it went up from 39,000, whatever it was, or maybe whatever it was. I don't know. I can't remember what it was, but yeah, so that's it. Now, okay, this is a tiny pool. I can grow this pool. Or what I'm doing with this particular strategy is I'm just continuing to go into affection. So I want to try and be one of the top holders for affection. So I keep every day with a portion of the supply. I'll swap into affection with Coexistent Steven, and I keep fattening up that pool so I can be one of the top holders. So if I have a look at the affection pools now, for example, you know, I've added some outside liquidity on this one. Come on, where are you? Affection. So let's just open this. I'll leave Harambe just in case we need Harambe in a minute. So affection. Yeah, Quartermasters. We'll get rid of this one for now. Should have copied and pasted, but it didn't. So just click it and it copies it and then paste, scan. Yeah, I mean, as that's loading up with affection, let's go back to, where was it? Coexistent Steven. So has any more arbitrage happened in that time? Let's have a look. But this is something where it's just, as affection moves in price, it's going to move. It will. Yeah. So there's been more arbitrage here. Oh, well, that was a liquidity ad. Sorry. And then that created an arbitrage opportunity. So you could go back into the history of all of this, and there's going to be arbitrage all the way through. I mean, yeah, look at all this arbitrage. That's all arbitrage. I didn't do any of those. That's all yield. That's all just free yield going into my liquidity pool. So it's like the mega alpha on liquidity providing. Everyone is, and there's nothing wrong with this. Just for the record, there's totally, absolutely 100% nothing wrong with this. I fully encourage people to do this sort of stuff as well. So when I go to info, I want to look at the yields on different liquidity pools. So I've got favorited liquidity pools, and then it will show like top performing ones for the day. I mean, 166. So people are swapping a lot of PDI into Pulsechain, a lot of wrapped Bitcoin into Pulsechain, a lot of Pulsechain into Teddy or vice versa. So yeah, but then you look at these and the liquidity. I mean, that's 2.4 million. I mean, these would be good pools to be in because That's, I mean, this would have been a great pool to be in. And look at that, you got 300,000 liquidity and 223% APR. So yeah, you can do that. You can look at the APR here and calculate. I mean, die to die. This is also making me a bit potentially maybe why we might not break the all-time highs for PDI just yet, because this is getting like, this bar is getting bigger and bigger. So it's like, oh, this was kind of like this day here, this huge bar was like the top. So if this ends up, I mean, we could be seeing this portion of the could end up being like these few days here, and then we just have these another few days of like epic run. That's what I'm kind of hoping for. But we'll see what happens, and it pushes its way up to 5 cents. So yeah, you could look at this APR. That's what people are doing. So that's like kind of level 1 liquidity providing. Well, level 1 is really like Pulsechain and wrapped ETH, where it's just 1-to-1. You have no impermanent loss, nothing. It's just generating yield. Then this is like the next level up, where you're kind of finding these different kinds of tokens that you can get some good yield on. But now all of this, I'm creating my liquidity web, and all of this is giving me yield. So maybe the liquidity, that individual liquidity pool is not going to have an APR of this, but this is the but. If, say, my affection pool continues to get up, so I want to catch up. I want to catch up past sort of BFF, Ben Pop. So I could jump instantly. I could jump instantly into the top 5 if I added the liquidity of affection that I have sitting in my wallet at the moment. But I want to try and get up there this way and just kind of see how this process goes. But I could do that. I might end up doing that because I'm still watching what happens. Okay, when affection goes up, how's that affecting my liquidity pools? What happens? And I'm watching that. Or when affection goes down, what happens with these numbers? So I'm still watching all of that, because assets that are bonded in liquidity, obviously the higher the percentage of your tokens in that liquidity pool, the more it moves with that liquidity pool. So yeah, the higher up it is, when there's swaps from affection to DAI, it's going to filter out down through here. So I want to get this up nice and high. I want it to be one of the highest. Also because, yeah, this is the gateway to dysnomia. And Maria's spoken about this with Maddie, as like, what can this mean? What can this mean when this continues to get burnt? So when we type in dysnomia, this gets burnt. And people also swap from dysnomia. Like when somebody starts, when new dysnomia contracts are created, because the mentality is it's all happening through affection, people generally bond their tokens with affection. So that's how I buy into people's liquidity pool. So when I find new users, I'll buy into their pool with affection. So I'll swap Coexistence Steven into affection, and then from affection into their liquidity pools, and then I'll create a coexistence with their liquidity pools. I haven't done this for a while, but yeah, these are the kinds of things that I do. So, oh, here we go. Bayfection with Milady. So yeah. I'm not sure. I'll go. Is there any questions that you guys have? I'll go through some of these comments here. So Bayfections needs more LP. Yes, it does. I will build out Bayfection. I will build out more with Bayfection. So now I'm trying with Milady with Bayfection, because I don't know if you guys saw. Supposed Richard Hart 369 or 36.9 MakerDAO vote. And the comment was Milady. So then Milady just went absolutely spastic. It just went insane. It did like 110x, but that's because the liquidity is so thin and people would have aped into it. So then I thought, Bayfection and Milady, Bayfection belongs with Milady. I want to be high up in that liquidity pool. So then I'm going to continue. That's going to be one of my strategies with Bayfection. All right. But Sunny finds PRC20s before anyone. Well, exactly. And I heard one of the lads in the PDI barbecue spaces the other day, he had some strategy where Pulsechain first launched. He built some bot that basically read all the Uniswap pools, because all the Uniswap pools got forked over as well. So Richard Hart's Harvester bot, or whatever, someone's Pulsechain's Harvester bot harvested all the liquidity out of a lot of these pools, but then there's a lot of pools that are still there with no one touching them. And Harambe was probably one of them, because if we look at like Harambe had nothing for like so long. So this is the thing. There's all these opportunities. This is why it's the gold rush. These PRC20s are, what an analogy. What an analogy. The gold rush, man. It's a fantastic analogy for more ways than one. But there's all these veins of potential liquidity that are sitting out there in Pulsechain, and you can find one and strike gold. And if it happens to be something where, like, if you bought Milady a year ago, and Richard Hart or whoever it was did this 36.9, came out and did that, then you're up big. You're up big, and you bought that years ago. So I don't have the tools for that kind of stuff. There's people who do. There's someone who built like a bot that scoured all the pools. I've reached out to him, see like if I can talk to him about finding some, because I want to get into metaverse and AI tokens. But yeah, I mean, this is what it means to be a dev. I mean, Sonny's got those skills, so power to him. So yeah, I mean, he finds them and he builds them up, and he's doing that largely by himself. And now people are starting to see what it means to do this, and now people are starting to copy what he's doing, because it's like a really alpha play. Yes, it is very great. It's extremely beyond great. And oh man, I was having a conversation with my friends, as I always do, about this. Let's have a look. He said this ecosystem is fucking awesome. Seriously, it's Jeet City everywhere, just about. Then Pulsechain is innovating on all fronts. Cardano is cool, but they just haven't delivered much to the market. Pulsechain is over-delivering by miles and miles and miles. And I'm like, man, you've hit the nail on the head. Like, Pulsechain is so over-delivering. And I'm just like, how did we get so blessed to be in this ecosystem where the founder has attracted all these people who are building, all these different builders all across the chain who are doing all these amazing things, who have similar mindsets. There's another... Yeah, there's there's PDI, there's also XUSD, like the XUSD team has reached out to me, and I'm going to be doing my research on that. I was a little bit tentative at first, but I've been sort of talking to a few people, and I've spoken to one of the guys who's really a founding member of the team, and it's like there's all these opportunities everywhere on Pulsechain. And you talk to these guys and they all have that mindset of like, they're trying to build things that promote delayed gratification. They're trying to build things that promote like long-term investing, all these ideas and mentalities that Richard Hart is trying to promote, which is just fantastic. And yeah, I mean, his dream of creating so many millionaires, let's say PDI, let's say he's behind PDI. If it was just the RH4 tickers, the people who have all the RH tickers, they're screaming the loudest for the RH tickers because they dominate the supply. People like you and me, I would have been what, a dolphin maybe, or below a dolphin, I don't really know, but maybe I might have got a millionaire after this. But then if it's just this idea of like what it was with Hex, where it's just like, let's just pump like the 4 tickers, then if the people who have the maximum supply, they're going to be the ones that win the most. They're not waiting for 10,000x like us to get our 7 figures. They don't need that. They can start ripping out the liquidity long before that. So the fact that there's all these opportunities, it like maximizes the amount of potential millionaires on this blockchain. So it's like, man, it's just, what a chain, man. What a chain. And so many people are just sleeping on it. And Moon King now, Moon King the GOAT, Moon King is going to have a fight with Jake Gegan, who's a big, like another big influencer. Like you're seeing the signs everywhere. I'm seeing the signs everywhere. Ivan on Tech keeps talking about PDI, Pulsechain, because the people are rating him. The people who watch Ivan on Tech, the other influencers, they'll start to notice. Altcoin Daily posted a little clip of Richard Hart in his Gucci. He didn't say nothing about Hex. He won't say Hex. He'll distance himself from it because he doesn't have any coins there. So he won't promote those tickers. But they will start to wake up. You cannot deny the results. I'm learning LP hopefully for the next cycle because I just have too small capital for this one. Hey, one day at a time. Not only have you got the perfect name for me to answer this question, no, man, this is the beauty. Like, do it now, bro. Like, do it with $5. Do it with $5. Like, just start. That's all you need. That's all you need. Buy yourself some affection. But you just take like 1% of your portfolio and start creating a liquidity web. The gas on Pulsechain is so cheap for you to create liquidity pools. It's like, nah, man, you should I'm not financial advice, but if I was in your situation, do it one day at a time. Do it one day at a time, my bro. I've got a whole different range of liquidity pools and Lao tokens that I'm building up, but you don't have to start with anything big. Just think, you keep minting tokens, buy into that supply, arbitrage fills it up. You keep repeating that process over and over and over and over and over and over again. Your $5 will grow into 10, 15, 20, 100. It'll keep growing, and you buy the right kind of tokens that are also going up. It's a very, very good way of doing it, in my opinion. I don't do it with all my, I've just done it with my donation wallet, and my donation wallet now is almost it's worth, yeah, it's pretty much one of my highest wallets, to be honest. So yeah, this some next level. Oh, no worries, Love Temple. My pleasure. All right. Harambe. Salud, Ram. Salud. We need to turn off auto route and isolate your route. So, yes. Okay. Yes. So, okay. Yes. Let's be clear on this as well. So, coexistence even. So now, if I'm going to do this with Harambe, what was it? 0.33. You want it to swap straight into the pool. And the way to do that is to turn off. So see here, I've got I will turn off allow multi-hops and allow split routing, and it will swap straight into the pool. See how the slippage changed as well? Because if it allows multi-hops, it thinks, oh yeah, it's actually cheaper for me to go here to here. Like the auto router is probably not as good as it could be. But I think it's getting better, perhaps. But yeah, you want it to swap straight in. So here we can see it's going to swap straight into, I'm swapping coexist into the coexist Harambe pool, and I'm getting Harambe. Whereas before it was going coexist to hex and coexist, and then hex and Harambe, and then Harambe, or something like this, whatever it was. So you want to turn all that off, so you just go straight swap, especially as you're wanting the arbitrage to happen into your liquidity pool. So yes, good reminder on that one, kind. Bring up the same chart you are swapping to see it in action. Yeah, okay, all right, let's do that. So I'll do some more swaps so we can see it in action. That's a great idea. That's a great idea. So here, you can, hopefully this has gotten better. So it's got the charts here as well. Gecko Terminal was doing really great. Then it started to really started to kind of shit itself recently. So actually what I'll do is I'll put that swap through now, and we'll be able to see it live, and you'll be able to see actually I'll do a nice big one so we can definitely get an arbitrage happening through here. Well, it's never a definite, but all right, so that's going to go through. And as that goes through, lol, get huge at the gym. Donald Pump status. Donald Pump, man. Donald the Trump pump. It's all just, it's like this perfect. It's like the perfect storm. It's the perfect storm, guys. Like Trump is in. Richard looks like he's going to beat the SEC. It's the perfect storm. It's like, yeah, I can't see how we lose. Like the chain is over delivering, it's overperforming, and so many people have slept on it. There was the Hawk tour that they got all rugged again. These guys, it's like, well, wake up, guys! Like you're on Solana. Like this is the norm on Solana. Like there's so many better things happening on Pulsechain, but nobody sees it yet. But eventually, they're all going to come over to this chain at the end. Why? Because people will chase the results. The eyeballs are going to come with people like more Ivan on Tech. If PDI gets to $1, you don't think Ivan on Tech's going to be screaming and shouting about it. He'll have a fat bag, and he's going to be screaming and shouting a lot about his fat bag. I'll tell you that right now. We all get euphoric for fat bags. We all get euphoric. You're going to have all the other people that are going to be noticing it. Rand, maybe Moon King goes back on with Rand, Crypto Banter, 1 million subscribers. Moon King's having the fight with Jake. Maybe Jake posted out to his followers, and all this liquidity, just like Hex. Richard buys his own tokens. So it's like share buybacks. He buys his own supply. This is probably largely why, like, one of my theses and Sommy's was that he was pumping the shit out of Hex. So he was probably buying it up, creating more people, attracting more people into it. And like, so he was almost like what I'm doing here. I'm kickstarting it with this big pump, and then the market comes and follows up. So I'm kickstarting this, and then the arbitrage comes, and it's slightly a little bit different, but yeah. So let's actually see what happened here. So we'll go to Harambe. Oh, I mean, here you go. Look at this. So what time is it now? 9:20. Oh, so that was a while ago, but you can see it here. So it hasn't gone through just yet. Let's go. I'll just go down to the 1 second mark. Oh yeah. So now I've sold. So that's my wallet there, 9829E. So it didn't do anything yet. So I'll do another one. I don't really want to do it too big, because again, I'm still yeah. There's like that, yeah. Because I've done it with the mother token where I hammered it. So I made the price impact all red. And the liquidity just kept dropping down and down and down, but the experiment is long term. So let's see what happens now that the mother token is now, like, all the liquidity's filled, all the token supply now is in all those pools. How's it going to move compared to how Coexistence Steven is going to move? Because there's still going to be so much of coexistence in supply. So let's do for the culture. We'll do it for the culture. 1369. So say it, Harambe. Oh! For the culture, 3.33. Too much culture, too much. God, the spirit of Harambe is washing over me with his blessings. Thank you, Harambe. Harambe 369. The Sermon on the Mount of Harambe. All right. So now as that goes through, let's continue. Yeah, the perfect storm, guys. The perfect storm. Yeah, there's just so many things. And then once all these people see what this chain is about, it's just going to be too glorious. Okay. Here we go. Why was that? Maybe did I accidentally sell by accident before? What the that makes no sense to me whatsoever. And neither does that. Oh, okay. That's why I'm getting confused. So the 29. So I'm 829E. 829E. Okay. All right. So it did happen for this one here. So, oh, there we go. Done. Beautiful. Look at that. So 829E. So I sold, and then the arbitrage bought. I sold, then the arbitrage bought. So I sold $1 worth. The arbitrage bought $1.77 worth. So this is how it happens, man. This is how the little pieces get left behind. So when the wave goes out to your whole, and then as the wave, I mean, this is kind of my thinking, and I'm still not 100%. But let's say, for example, now I get all the way up to the top with wherever the affection pool was. I'm probably, I don't really see I'm going to get up this high, but let's say I can see myself getting third. That I'm going to aim for third. I could easily get to third, I reckon, probably within a month or two. So I could get to third. So then when there's lots of action happening with affection, then it's going to go through a lot of my affection coexist pool. Now, when it goes through the affection, so let's say DAI is getting dumped into affection, then then my pool, it could potentially shift the values in my pool. So then coexist is going to get swapped with affection. And because there's so much value in these, look, I might end up having like, oh my goodness. I mean, I've got 22,000 liquidity in there at the moment. This is 60,000. Like I said, I can easily see it getting up there. Then the more value that's in there, the more volume that's going through it with each arbitrage. So then it's going to leave behind more value. But then as that's happening, let's say my coexist is all the way out, or just see it where it's here. That then is going to send a ripple through all of coexistence as well. Not through all of it, but as that shifts, as this one shifts, as this pool shifts, yeah, then it could shift this one, which then could shift this one, which then could shift this one. So yeah, we don't like the way the craziness of this is, it's unreal. So yeah, there you go, guys. Look how good that is. So we just saw live swap for swap. And then, yeah, and again, just to kind of hammer home that point, let's refresh this because you'll be able to see it here. Oh, go to first page, sorry. Because I like to look at the block explorer. I like to look at the Gecko terminals, far more accurate than Dex Screener. So here's our 1369. I mean, look at all this. So here was that one there, and then it did this one. Let's see what it did. So it did 2 here. So let's have a look at this. Nice. So we got 2 here. So this was after the 0.00991. So this is an example of what I'm talking about. So first, so get rid of this because it's going to start to get confusing. Get rid of this. So it went through a few. So it went through. Interesting. See, I don't fully. It's like, what's going on here? So yeah, it went from Pulse to Weth to Spurdo, and then Spurdo to Harambe, and then Harambe to Coexistence Steven. And then I don't know if he just left Coexistence Steven in there. And then tokens minted, and then tokens burnt. So he minted. So the Arbitrage bot created this. So he burnt some Pulsechain. He burnt Pulsechain, it looks like, and then he minted Weth for it. And then with Weth, he swapped into Spurdo. With Spurdo, he swapped into Harambe. Uniswap V2. Okay, all right, yeah. So, look. Okay, Uniswap V2 to Spurdo. And okay. That's interesting. So, Weth to the Uniswap Spurdo, then Spurdo to Spurdo from the Uniswap to the Pulse XLP. And I wonder if Spurdo is like another PRC20. And actually, if it is a PRC20, let me just quickly, I'll dig down that rabbit hole in just a second, and then into Harambe, and then into Coexistence. So I don't know then if he's bought out that much Coexistence. I think he's swapped in the Harambe, and now he's kept this much Coexistence, Steven. I think that's what this is saying. Because now that's the end of the chain. So I'll go to Spurdo in a second. And this is another one that it did. So then, with Coexistence Steven, he swapped it for TSFI in the Coexistence Steven and TSFI pool, and then to Pulsechain, and then he left with some Pulsechain. So here we go. So he's swapped. So he's taken 0.1 Coexistence Steven, swapped that into TSFI, swapped the TSFI for 10,000. 10,000 Pulsechain, and then he's left in 9,700, and he's taken out 750 and put it back into his. So that's his profit there, 750 Pulsechain. So it only needs to be pennies. So from that one arbitrage, from that one swap, it created 2 arbitrage opportunities in this particular circumstance. Sometimes it creates 1, sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's 3, sometimes it's way more. It's going to vary. It's going to fluctuate. So there's that. Let's have a look at Spurdo now. So just out of curiosity, I want to see if Spurdo is because it was a V2 pool. So I want to see if Spurdo is like an ERC20 as well. Yeah, I don't know if it's an ERC20. Let's have a... I mean, it looks like it, whatever it is, it looks like it's dead. But the reason why I want to show this is because this is how if it is an ERC, like a forked PRC20 of an old ERC20, then this is also how they, over time, get filled up as they're just bonded through all these different things. The arbitrage is just sending waves all throughout the chain. Yeah. Okay, so it does have Spurdo. Wow. Okay, so that must be a fork of... Yes, Berto Weth. Is that the same? But is it the same? How old is this liquidity pool? Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole now, but yeah, there you go. So that's how it happens. I'm going to keep going with these questions and start wrapping this up. What's my auto trade? Man, I will do a video where I'm going to share that process. It's something you can get ChatGPT to help you with it, and somebody helped me with it, and I have to go through the chat and like reverse engineer because I don't remember how I did it, and I have to go through the chat, and we kind of went back and forth, and I messed it up, and then I fixed it, and then it got messed up, and then he fixed it, and I just, yeah, I'm not there, and I'll get to it. I'll get to it. But for now, it's, if you haven't done this, it's good for you to click the buttons like I was doing at the start. Hit the like and subscribe. Yeah, I should say this more often. Hit the like and subscribe, share it out, turn the bell. If you want to, I know that, what's it called? The super chats helps the channels. But if you're going to if you want to show your appreciation, I'd much rather you send tokens towards, like instead of giving YouTube a cut, just donate some tokens to the, my donation wallet, and that will go into liquidity, which is going to go into fixing the world. So Doxy wallet, yeah, my wallet is, yeah, I'm gonna add that here. This is my donation wallet. Yeah, I can't. It'll be somewhere on my channel. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It'll be somewhere on my channel. If anyone wants to, then just, yeah, anything's appreciated. So isn't Harambe, it could be on Harambe as well, but this is the PRC20, the ERC20 that we're giving life to, the forked copy, which is the PRC20. I thought we just copy ETH stuff. Yeah, I mean, then Solana would have copied. I mean, this is what crypto is. Something pops off on one chain, and then everybody just copies it on their chain. So the HOT, it would have got copied on every single blockchain. Who is the founder of Harambe? No idea. And this is the beauty now. Like, it doesn't even really matter. It doesn't matter. They're all just community projects now, because there's these zero value tokens that communities can come and take over. So yeah, Harambe, this is what happened with Harambe. Someone decided to start giving it life. Then they created a Telegram. So we've got a Harambe Telegram, which I should put that. I'll put that in the chat. So will Harambe be the first PRC20 to hit parity? I mean, it all depends on. I mean, if the Lao boys all get into this, then I mean, yeah, we definitely can. We can combine our efforts. I'll buy some more of yours and add to your liquidity pool. Love. I will buy some. Oh, yeah, that must have been when I was, yes, when I was talking about swapping into yours. Yeah, man, for sure. These new Maria tokens have lottery-style functionalities, quite mind-bendingly interesting. I mean, anything to do with what Maria is doing is interesting and takes a billion years to figure out. So these days, I'm just like, okay, get now, ape later. Ape now and work it out later. Because honestly, like, there's so many people who they got into PDI, they didn't think or a troper, they're just like, yeah, what's going on here? I'm going to buy some of that for the lols, and they have like millions and millions and millions of PDI that they bought like a year and a half ago. And I'm sitting here trying to research what's going on here, trying to figure all this out. Okay, now I'm going to put some money in. So sometimes it pays to, I mean, even Moon King says this a lot. He's like, sometimes it pays to just be dumb in crypto. They're the ones that do like the best. I think one of my meditation buddies, his sister bought like Shiba Inu in the last cycle and probably forgot about it. And now her portfolio is like in the tens of Ks, and he's swapped that now into some Pulsechain assets. So good on him, good on her. Harambe will outperform Harambe from ETH. You're damn right, Zone. You're damn right. And this is the thing. Now, if our Harambe ends up becoming more expensive than Harambe from ETH, that makes things really interesting. That makes things very interesting. So bullish on Peter. Yeah, man. let's have a. I want to wrap up with a quick look at that as well. Once I finish all these questions, I want to just do a quick overview of where PDI is at. Come on, Altcoin Daily has Hex since last September or this. Oh, nice. Okay, there we go. Nice. Did you see RH pass the executive? I did see that, Johnny boy. I mean, is it like that's definitely RH, or is it like it's an RH connected wallet? Is like, yeah, yeah. The one where he commented Milady. Matt, what's going on, Matt? Good to see you, man. Let's finish this up. I'll finish this up now just with a PDI overview. Let's see where we are with PDI. Attributed PDI flows. Let's have a look what's going on here. Oh, shit. So Trope is at 2 cents. And let's have a look what's happening with the... So this is a Troper to PDI, DAI stablecoin. Let's have a look at what's happening with the liquidity here, see if we can find any clues. Okay, interesting. Interesting. So a Troper... Interesting. A Troper is still being sold into PDI, so that's interesting. So if this continues... I mean, this is... I mean, if this looked like it could have been a top, but maybe it isn't. If this keeps if a Troper keeps getting swapped into PDI, we could see some more PDI all-time highs. Then this is what have we got here? So this is, I got to invert the pair. For some reason, all these have swapped. I have no idea why. Oh, nice! Back up to the up above 3 cent mark. So yeah, do it for the boys. Do it for the culture. All right. Yeah. So any questions before we round this up? So have you seen 9iron's last post? Important, apparently. I've been told, but haven't seen it. I have not. You know what? Let's finish up on that then. I don't want to stay up too late tonight. I don't want this to be too long of a stream. And eventually, yeah, I hope you guys are appreciating this content, but eventually I want to really start to condense this down into like 5-minute things. So tomorrow, one of my buddies, I'm doing like a Zoom call with one of my meditation buddies, and I'm onboarding him into Pulsechain, and he wants to know how to do DeFi. So I'm taking him all the way through from getting his money onto centralized exchanges or just getting it straight to the decentralized exchange, how to use PulseX, how to set up liquidity pools, what kind of things he'd want to buy, where he can look. So as I'm going to be explaining it to him, I've got other meditation friends who also have been watching my YouTube channel, and people that I never thought would buy have been like, yeah, I bought some PDI, I bought some Teddy Bear, I bought some Atropa. You know, it's so cool to see. So I want to make these. I got another meditation buddy who wants me to look after his portfolio. So, or like just help him, but maybe like manage it for him because he doesn't want to do all the clicking yet. He wants to just kind of watch it now and then learn as he goes. So as my friends are coming to me and asking me about this, I'm going to start producing the content for it because I want to just be able to send if I believe that this is going to be like a new financial system, a new island, a decentralized financial system where they're much better off getting all their liquidity out of banks and getting it into this system and staying in this system and living off the yields here, for example, then I want to make it as easy as possible for them because we all have, you know, we're all trying to make the world a better place, right? Everyone here that's watching this, I hope everyone's trying to make the world a better place in every way that they can. So let's have a look. 99 Capital. Let's have a look at his latest tweet, see if I can decipher it. I always find it pretty hard, man. And these days I'm like, oh boy, you know, like I'm trying to keep up with everything. Too long didn't read. Richard Art's native stablecoin PDI. Oh, launches tomorrow. What? What? 6 hours ago, RH voted to change a P-maker. Oh, goodness me. All right, let's have a quick look at this. RH's native stablecoin 6 hours ago. Oh, what's his tweet here? So this is what? What? 6 hours ago, RH voted to change the P-maker governance. PDI is about to change the lives of everyone involved. The hat has executed the community's wishes. PDI pegging to $1 is inevitable. Richard Hart is creating crypto's most decentralized stablecoin. Here is proof. It's just lovely. So here's the proof that he's gone. Set owner. Right. Okay. So someone has interacted with the blockchain and executed the function of set owner. So they've called the function set owner and created a new owner to this address here, which is 22F. And I don't know if the 22F wallet is somehow related to the origin address or something like this. Hey, Bud P, what's going on? Everyone, Bud P, if anyone remembers Bud P who was on the Atropa movement, I'm going to do a stream with Bud P at some point. Maybe like this time next week. So I know that there was a lot of people who wanted to get some more wisdom from Bud P. So we're going to talk about allodial titles and tax and how you can utilize your assets and change your mentality with your assets on Pulsechain, which I think is a big, big thing. I mean, I was just talking about this a minute ago with getting my friends on here and getting them to think about this as their bank, not think about this as a casino, where that's old crypto. I mean, what innovation is there? I've got people that are like, yeah, I'm in this for the utility, but really, everyone's in it for the pump and dump. And you want to be the one that takes it out at the top of the pump and dump on everybody else. Whereas I see Pulsechain is creating an actual decentralized financial system. There's going to be pump and dumps, of course. That's just part of markets. But man, I just see a much brighter future with everything happening on Pulsechain. Pump it up. It's the biggest news on Pulse. Well, man, bro, yes, hash. It is. It really is. So can anyone verify this wallet here? 22F. I don't know what wallet this is. Has he copied and pasted the wallet address so we can at least look at this wallet? But yeah, there you go. So he would have 6 hours ago, RH voted on this. Here is the proposal of the executive vote. Okay, so he's gone into it here. Here is the scheduling of the changes. Finally, here is the casting and the adoption of the executive vote. We cannot thank you enough for your hard work. The time, energy, and effort you provide to Pulsechain. This is to Richard Hart. Is nothing short of revolutionary. It really is nothing short of revolutionary. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. You are changing more lives than any other founder in crypto. This is a fact. This is an absolute fact. And I was trying to tell my cousin this, and he's like, "Oh, you're turning into Do Kwon, Steve," because he had a lot of Terra Luna and he lost a lot in Terra Luna. My heart goes out to him. And he's like, and I'm like, but we're doing it in reverse. This is the beauty of what's happening here on Pulsechain. Do Kwon started from the top and created it with all this fake liquidity, but we're doing it in reverse. This is the difference. And so I'm really trying to get him into Pulse, like more. He's got some PulseX, but and a little bit of Hex, but yeah, he's not enough as far as I'm concerned. So lastly, in 18 hours from now, these changes will move into effect. This is what he meant. Okay, so will move into effect at PMaker. Hex, Pulse, and PulseX will become PDI's collateral, and we will ready the VAT for a reset. The community poll has been more than adopted. The last step is the peg. Over to you, milady. So yeah, when this happened, did you? I don't know if you guys saw what happened to milady, but it went. Yeah, it did 110x from the bottom. Yeah, so this is what he was talking about launching tomorrow. Basically, that. Now that the vote has passed, Hex, Pulse, and PulseX is going to be the collateral for PDI. So then this is what he's saying. The native coin PDI launches tomorrow. So it's like officially after this 18-hour period, which is tomorrow, that's when it kind of like it launches, if so to say. So, hey, Rye, what's going on, man? Huge up, Steve and Muddy in the chat. What's going on, Rye? So yeah, this is one of my boys as well. So, you know, we're me and Muddy got me into Atropa and PDI. And we got our little Fib Fun chat. We've been trying to shout out to the boys, get into Atropa, get into PDI. So they're starting to get in. They're starting to learn, which is really, really good to see. This is how we help everyone. Like, we don't hurt them, we don't harm them, we educate them, and we bring them in and we help them. Because don't we want the boys to win? Don't we want to lift up all the boys? I want to lift up all the boys. I want all my boys to win. I don't want my brother to be struggling with a mortgage and enslaved to the bank. I don't want that. I want him to be free. I want his mind to be free. I don't want my other brother stressing. He's got a kid on the way, stressing about a mortgage, and like, I don't want that. I want them to be free in a system that's better, that they can get better return on their investment, and like I've sent them some PDI, so yeah, it'll help them out. But I haven't sent them a lot, just enough to get them interested. Hopefully, once the results start coming in. So you can put your core tokens in a maker vault, mint PDI, and provide liquidity. Exactly. So that's what's going to start to happen. 99 already confirmed it. It can't be anyone else. So okay, there we go. Never selling, infinite money loop. Bud P, yes. So these are the things that Bud P and I are going to be talking about. This has also been my strategy. So the smart money, all the smart money. And hey, I had a friend again today who called me up. I'm not saying names or anything like this, but basically he said, get an awesome accountant, because getting an awesome accountant just changed everything about this person who passed away, and all their assets then got passed on to the children. It was a big mess because he's been building up these assets for years and years, since like the 60s, and the accounting was all over the place. Lots of people taking over it, and now they're spending a lot on accountants, but the accountants they've got like a team of accountants working on it. And now, yes, they spend a lot on accountants, but they're getting it all back now because the accountants have fixed everything up. And it all works in their benefit in a much, much more efficient way. So basically all the rich people do is they know the rules, or they pay people enough money who know the rules to work it in their favor. And what he said is, this guy who just passed away, he never sold his assets. He just continued to build on his assets. That's what the smart people do. They just leverage off their assets. They do not sell. This is the thing where I'm just like, man, if your mentality is to get 100x in this and then take it out, I think that's a huge mistake. The mentality, in my opinion, everybody should just do what they want for their own sake. But the mentality for me is like, I don't even want to buy a single thing after this. I might buy myself a laptop because my laptop struggles now with all these streams. But I want to use that as a foundation to then build into the next bull market. Put it all into stables, put it all into PDI, put it all into like yield-bearing liquidity pools, and then just build off that. I'm not going to take it all out and go and buy a house or a mansion and then start over again. I heard RG3 talking the other day with Dollar Cost Crypto, Miguel, Dollar Cost Crypto, and they were talking about all these guys in Hex who thought they were made, and they ended up buying like a house and a car, and they thought, this is when Hex was 56 cents, and then Hex went down to below 1 cent, and all of a sudden they're like, they have to go back to work and they're struggling again. So do you want to be in that situation? I think the smarter move is to say, hey, let's build off this foundation and let's think long-term delayed gratification. The Lambo, the cars, the houses, it's fleeting pleasure. It's fleeting pleasure. Really think about it. You get a new phone and it's like, oh, this is the coolest thing ever. And then after a week, it's just like you're throwing it around. Or you get something new and you're like, oh, it's so precious and I'm going to place it down here and I don't want a single crack on it. And then after a week, it's like, yeah, then it's got a crack. Who really gives a shit? Like, it's all fleeting pleasure. This is just material things. They don't last. This is why Jesus said the fools bury their treasures on earth. The wise bury their treasures in heaven. It's the same. He's basically talking that materialism there's nothing to it. So I don't want to get too religious, but no one has the capability to move all the OA bags as collateral. Alrighty. Hey, Kaiser, what's going on, man? Kaiser, if you guys don't follow Kaiser, definitely strongly recommend following Kaiser. Does absolutely awesome. Hex, Pulsechain, all the core tokens. Does awesome tweets with like all the best clips from like, I don't have time to watch all the stuff. I'm digging my own thing. So when you have someone like Kaiser who keeps you up to date, like, this is the beauty of communities, right? He'll be watching all this stuff. I'm learning all this stuff over here, but together, together we're better as a whole. And this is why I keep my thing now is I'm a Pulsechain maxi. I'm not any particular ticker maxi. People think, oh, because I talk about Atropa, I'm an Atropa maxi. No, I just think that there's so many amazing things going on here. This is like such a deep web that I'm exploring. Like, it's so much fun, but I have other things as well. And I would have a lot less than what people would think, put it that way. I'm a Pulsechain maxi. I want this whole chain to win. So yes, thank you, Kaiser. Hit the likes. Hit the likes, everyone. Share it out. Good on you, Rye. So let's start wrapping this up. What's the best token to swap into coexistence, Stephen, for the lowest slippage? So Billy Mac, So yeah, if you want to find this out in general with this Liquidity Pools Versal app, which is this website here, which is in the link in the description, you would just copy and paste any contract address. So you would copy and paste the coexistent Stephen here, scan. So the best one is Affection. So the reason why I'm also doing it with Affection is because I'm trying to. I mean, Affection is the gateway for dysnomia. So I really want to be like. I mean, as it stands, no other dysnomia-based token is higher than me. So this is a dysnomia token, but no other LAU token is higher than me. So I want it to be that way. I want to be like the highest holder of it. KISS, as far as I know, Ben Potvin did not create this with the LAU system. I think he just created this maybe through GoPulse. Don't quote me on that. Yeah, so the best way then is with the one with the most liquidity. So that's going to get you the least slippage. So there's 22,000 liquidity, 22.5 thousand liquidity in this. And again, man, let me just show you this. So you guys can see how fucking awesome this is. All I'm doing every single day, 1.1, like for example, I mean, this scales up over time because of the slippage. So that liquidity pool is so fat. So the slippage here is 0.07. Now with Harambe, blessings be to Harambe 369. Now if I do that with Harambe, there's a big price impact because there's not that much liquidity in that pool. So all I'm doing every day is just I keep buying into that pool and then I keep adding and keep adding and keep adding, and this liquidity pool just keeps getting fatter and fatter and fatter. And I'm telling my boys out there to do it, but everyone. I mean, it's a time thing, right? But yeah, it all comes down to time and everyone's doing their thing. So for me, it's like, yeah, I'm trying to optimize this opportunity as much as I can because I was late to a troper. I want to be early to dysnomia, and dysnomia is all about affection. So I want to be the highest pool with affection. That was always my goal with affection. So yes. So long answer short, you just go through the highest liquidity pools to get the least amount of slippage. Good on you, Kaiser. Everyone needs to move their keys out of their estate to avoid probate. This can be done in crypto. Asset protection isn't as hard as you might think. So this is what Bud P and I are going to be talking about in more detail on a stream. Of course, Kaiser, you are an absolute legend of the community, man. And I always greatly appreciate your posts, man. It keeps me up to date. They're all positive, and you've held true to the core, and I really respect that. And for me, it's like not a war. The war between the maxes and this coin or that. It's not a war, man. When you really see what's going on with this whole channel, it's blockchain. It's like we're all going to win. I don't see it. I don't see a future where we're all not going. I mean, look, Peter is dragging the whole chain up with it. It's phenomenal. So. In my opinion, the smarter move is move capital to many different ways like crypto, real estate, cash, investments, business, and ensure most of them have no overlap so you don't have to go back to a 9 to 5. Hash, I agree. I agree with this also. That's one of my plans as well. Build a foundation here with crypto, and then from that foundation, start diversifying into real estate, cash, businesses. That's exactly, man. Exactly. That's a great move. So thanks, Bud P. All right. Any questions before I finish this up, guys? Good on you, Billy Mac. So, yeah, I mean, coexistence, Stephen, I have no idea where that's going to go, bro. And just so you know, like the objective is, it's not about, I mean, I appreciate that you're buying the token, but it's not about, if you're going to buy the token, I would much rather you bond it in liquidity with one of your LAU tokens. So when you go to dysnomia.icu, you connect your wallet and you go to user here, add, and all you need to do is just press add, and this is as easy as it is, and then start building out your liquidity web. Doing that process will take all of a couple of minutes, and just with coexistence, Stephen, and if you have some affection as well, then you started creating your liquidity web. Create another one with Pulsechain and your token, so then you have 4 liquidity webs. And then you can have a 5th one with another Pulsechain one with V1, one with V2, so you can get more arbitrage opportunities between the two. So it's as simple as that. I'd rather you do that and create a liquidity web than like hold it as something that's going to be like this precious thing. Because really, for me, the beauty of this, and the thing that I really saw with this that I really love, is that I can create my own self-autonomous system that I don't need to hurt anybody. So, for example, one day if your mindset is like, oh, I'm going to buy Coexistence even, but then one day I start to decide to dump the token because I need to take some liquidity out, then you're going to think, oh, I've been dumped on. So I don't want that. That's why I don't really want people to buy my tokens as something where you're buying it to sell it. You should buy it to add to liquidity. Well, you should do what you want with it, but that's what I'm trying to share. I want everyone to do I just think it would be in your interest to do your own liquidity pool. So, yep, executive vote is passed. Exactly. Aldo Rio, thanks a lot, buddy. Before we close up, let's finish. We didn't get to the all-time high just yet. Oh, but yes. Did we get to the 33? You damn right we did, baby. We would have got to it on this stream as well, maybe. Or what are the times here? Maybe we didn't. I'm probably tripping. No, we didn't. But that's all right. We got up there. So anyway, all right, I'll leave it at that. So thanks very much, everybody. Wasn't much lag because I fixed up a few things with Opera, so I can squeeze some more juice out of this laptop before the next bull market. So yeah, thanks very much, everybody. Take care.